act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chopped in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
And I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ.
Today, you could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
What is going on, people? Good afternoon. I'm getting my joyous face out the way because today we have an interesting show today, because I know for a fact that I will be losing my ever-living mind while discussing what I have to discuss with you today. Now, many of you may remember some time ago. Hello, everybody. First of all, thank you, guys. Make sure you share this on Facebook so they can come over here. Like, subscribe if you haven't. Most of you here are probably already subscribers. So go ahead and make sure you like. Okay. Now, some of you remember some time ago, I had tackled a certain individual by the name of Roland Martin. Roland Martin. That man. Anyhow, well, he was going after a guy named King III who was building a school for young black men so they can learn the efficiencies of life and be able to get along with people and, all that good stuff. Life skills that they would not normally learn from the environment that they may be growing up in. So we have here, though, an interaction between him and many of you may know this person, C.J. Pearson. C.J. Pearson is a conservative young black man who is very outspoken. Let me get this blue eye. He's a very intelligent young man to begin with. And after this particular exchange, I have rave reviews for this young man because he did what I know for a fact would never be able to do. And that is keep my composure. I don't know how he did it. I'm confused as to how he pulled it off. But I'm envious because some of the things that take place in this video. Last night I was so hot after watching this. I was so mad. Like I was so livid after watching this interaction with him and the people on Roland's panel, that there was a side to me that thought, if I ever saw these people in person, man alive. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk. We're going to talk today about Roland Martin a lady called Jane Elliott, and a man named Greg Carr. If you don't know who Greg Carr is, I only recently came across this person. Told you, it's going to be tough. One of those pseudo-intellectuals, the kind that talks really lofty and tries to act as though, but then at the same time tries to be as street in his conversation as possible to stay relevant to the Black community he wants to hail from. Same thing with Roland Martin. And of course, all the feminine characteristics that you can possibly think of associated with said men. Both of them. So it's a 2-hour clip that I found, and I've portioned out certain sections to take a look at. That original Malcolm X is a introduction to what we'll be talking about, because both are included in this video. Both the puppet and the puppeteer are in this video. The puppet being Roland Martin and Greg Carr, the puppeteer being Jane Elliott. If you manage to stay sane throughout this, I commend you. If you manage to make it through this entire thing after seeing what you see, you stay unpissed, please send me your daily regimen for meditation, because I'm going to need it. I'm going to need that. I'm going to need it. So, let me see, which one should I do first? Let's do this first. We'll talk to him. We'll show Mr. Greg first. This is Greg Carr, so-called intelligent human being, life on Earth and life on Mars. Now, two things I want you to watch for. I won't say what they are necessarily, but I want you to watch the interaction of how they talk and what they do. And CJ, just
they are accusing the Florida legislature and the governor, who acted so fast, by the way, that they made have a bigger impact on all those old white people and military folks in Florida. They accuse them of violating under the Voting Rights Act of acting under color of state law. So CJ, you're right, brother. I mean, when you say there is intent as it has been expressed, and then there's intent as it has the impact. It can have the impact of being discriminatory. And that's the category where you start talking about decisions that are entirely in the hands of how the judges read the law. That's why stuffing the courts was so important. But when you say that these things are not related, and you may or may not have heard about 45 minutes ago when I talked about the American Legislative Executive Council and the fact that they met the process working group in December of 2020, these things are not only related, they are coming out of the same draft legislative playbook. And those who have tried to suppress the vote, and including Hans von Spakovsky, who we saw as one of the main villains in North Carolina, were present at this meeting. But I'm willing to give our young brother a little bit of room to grow and learn. He's in Tuscaloosa. My mom's from Alabama. I consider myself an Alabaman as well, in many ways, in addition to being a Tennessean and an adopted Philadelphian. But I will ask you this, brother, and I'm glad we're having this conversation, Roland, because you're not going to see this anywhere else. Certainly wouldn't see it on Fox. I'm glad you don't have Tucker Carlson here, because at that point I might, put my life in danger by coming to join you in the studio, and we might have a different kind of conversation.
Now,
let's pause there for a second. Oh, trust me, that's not my guest. Thank God that's not my guest. Not my guest. I'm playing for people a video. These particular types of people, they figure bravado in saying, I can whoop someone looking the way he looks, is hilarious to me. You lucky this ain't Tucker Carlson on here. Or what? What would you do to Tucker Carlson? So you're telling me right off the top that you're okay with going to prison, and then you complain that black people go to prison. But you're going to get mad because if the cops haul you away for beating up a dude, then you're going to be like, oh, it's because I'm black. No, fool, it's because you're stupid. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. You're just dumb. And then in comes Tubby McTubberson to put in his 2 cents. So to go from, I'm going to be speaking, I want you to watch this, okay?
The group that they call the machine down there.
Yes, I can back
these
this
things
up.
are not related, and you may or may not have heard.
Here we go.
45 minutes ago, when I talked about the American Legislative Executive Council, and the fact that they met the process working group in December of 2020. These
So I can
things
back
are
this
not
up.
only related; they
You guys
are
need to
coming
hear
out
this.
of the same draft legislative playbook. And those who have tried to suppress the vote, and including Hans von Spakowski, who we saw and learn, he's in Tuscaloosa. My mom's from Alabama.
Fast forward this
See
again.
anywhere else. Certainly wouldn't see it on Fox. I'm
Here we
glad you
go.
had Tucker Carlson here, because at that point I might, put my life in danger by coming to join you in the studio, and we might have a different kind of conversation.
Now, you know Tucker's scared to death of me, but go ahead.
Well, of course. Well, he's scared to death of anything. I mean, you would have to be a man to actually lose some fear, or a woman. But either way, Tucker Carlson, CJ, it's cool, brother. You 18. Tucker Carlson has no excuse, because he damn near 3 times your age, still acting as if he's an adolescent. But in your case, brother.
And half of these clowns ain't going to say none of that stuff in front of anybody's face. Him sitting there with his hairline looking like Moses got a hold of it just after God said, part to sea. The entire army of Pharaoh could run across his forehead. You see, 2 people can do this. It's not just you. 2 people can play this game. I decided some time ago that I was taking off gloves. This is an episode where gloves are off. Between the Black Michelin Man and the Red Sea here, I don't know which one I'm going to go after more. But there's also the Hag Raven that's going to come at the end of this. You're going to see the Hag Raven. She going to show up eventually too. You're going to see it. Hold on.
Brother, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. I don't know how much time we have.
No, go ahead.
You're down in Tuscaloosa. Have you heard of Theta Nu Epsilon, the group that they call the Machine down there on the campus of the University of Alabama?
I'm not familiar with that organization now.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm assuming, given your talent, you clearly have talent, that you may decide to run for.
And you hear that? You clearly have talent, and they laugh at him. These are supposed to be educators, black educators, speaking to a young black male. They're supposed to be educators, trying to help a young black man see what they consider the light. This is their approach.
No, seriously. I mean, you may decide to run for a campus office. I myself was a student body president. Of course, I went to HBCU, Tennessee State. You plan on running for something while you down there, brother?
I'm currently a senator in SGA.
Oh, yeah. Very good. So then you're a senator who's never heard of the Machine. Okay.
That should tell you something. Now, remember, they're asking him about what he's experiencing. They ask him about what he's experiencing. Just remember that.
That's going to be clear, because I'm just saying, while you're in Tuscaloosa, I encourage you to be careful. The first black student body president in 1976, Cleo Thomas, when he won, they burned a cross on the campus of the University of Alabama. In fact, they burned a cross in 1986 when I was an undergrad in front of the AKA house. And in fact, as recently as 2018, AL.com did a series of articles called Greek Gods, where they talked about how this confab of white fraternities and sororities on the campus there in Tuscaloosa, the University of Alabama, have worked against any type of racial progress on that campus for years. Now, you don't play football, you don't play basketball, you're not a revenue generating black on the campus.
I'm going to back that up in a second. I really want you to listen to his words here. This is the point where I lost it. I absolutely lost it. When I tell you I could not see straight, I couldn't breathe properly, because I want you to understand that these particular black people, how they view educated black people, not educated by their standards, educated. People that don't agree with them, I should say, tells you a lot. Listen carefully to what he says. Back this up.
Tuscaloosa, the University of Alabama, have worked against any type of racial progress on that campus for years. Now, you don't play football, you don't play basketball, you're not a revenue generating black on the campus of the University of Alabama.
You are not a revenue producing black. You are not a revenue producing black. Because he doesn't play football or basketball. Take this down for a second here. You don't play basketball or football, so you are not a revenue producing black. Coming from a so-called black educator. Guys, look, every day I am more, hold on. Every day I am more flabbergasted by some of the crap that comes out of these people's mouth. What in, okay. So apparently CJ is unable to yield any kind of positive results for the college, even by means of monetary contribution, because he's not playing football or basketball, because we all know that that's the only way that black people could make money. That's the only way to generate revenue, is through basketball or football, and then you'll be a revenue producing black. But that's not racist. That's not stupid to say. That's completely fine from an educated person. I'm going to let him continue.
I hope as you're navigating that space in Tuscaloosa, you pay very close attention to how race operates, not in the abstract, but on that campus where you are, brother. And I wish you to continue to learn and grow, because I think you want what I want, what we all want, which is for all of us to be able to be human in the world without anybody oppressing us. And I'm telling you right now, you're in a very dangerous place and a dangerous campus. Look up the machine, brother. Unless, of course, you're already aware of them and don't want to say it on camera.
What I'll say at that point is our immediate past president was a black man. He was an alpha, actually. Roland will enjoy that.
That's right. Jared Hunter.
Cannot let him talk. This is the same crap that happened last time. If you remember clearly, this is the same crap that happened last time. When Roland Martin had King the Third on. Every question that Michelin Man asked him, before getting an answer, he would jump in and chime in like some baby mama. I honestly believe that these two men have gender confusion. I'm honest. I really believe that they have gender confusion. Like what they consider to be a male is really, in reality, psychopathic female. Not normal, psychopathic female. It is insane to me. You ask the dude a question. You're an educator. Wouldn't it behoove you to hear what the young man has to say? No. Instead, you're going to chime into how much you know. Listen to it. Yeah, I know who that is. I know. Only to do what? Listen carefully.
He was the first African-American
Reading it
to win the position with the support of the machine. So maybe y'all already talked.
Well, Jared was far before my time, but I'm talking about our most recent SGA president, who was an alpha. He was our SGA president, and also too, our SGA actually sponsored.
See, not listening to anything CJ has to say. He's still stuck on what he said. He is still stuck on what he is saying. Even though he's talking to CJ, he is stuck on what he was having to say. He knows so much. Even though he's wrong, because that's not who CJ is talking about. Well, but have you met the guy I'm talking about? Because I'm the one that you need to be listening to, because have you met the one I'm talking about? Because that will further my narrative. So have you met that one?
I have met DeMarcus, yeah. But I will say also,
interrupts again.
About the machine, brother.
I don't know what that is, but I will say the SGA did sponsor an event with Jane Elliott.
And he mentions the Hag Raven. Sorry, Hag Raven. The Hag Raven's name has been mentioned. In comes Jane Elliott. If you don't remember Jane Elliott, maybe some of you saw this Oprah Winfrey episode with the brown eye, blue eye, and she treated the brown-eyed people differently than she did the blue-eyed people, and people were trying to make this she was trying to make this correlation about that's how blacks felt and that's how they feel, and if you feel discriminated, why don't you do this, and why don't you? It was stupid, a very stupid exercise, but she thinks in all her great liberal wisdom that she's doing something oh so wonderful for people to learn something, when she herself knows zero, because she has an agenda. She's a racist, hiding under the guise of an anti-racist, which is technically the worst kind of person you could possibly find on earth. If you think the Michelin Man is bad, and you think Mr. Red Sea Parting here is bad, wait till you hear the Hag Raven. Wait until you hear the Hag Raven. Now, remind you, she is supposed to be part of this entire panel discussion. There are 5 people on right now. Roland Martin, these two, a female, another black female, and the Hag Raven. All of them on. The camera just panned to these two, but everyone is supposed to be on, engaged in the conversation. Remember I said these are educators. If you're an educator and you're trying to educate somebody, I would assume that you'd have to be part of the discussion and really apply yourself to listening, so you can hear how much the person either knows or doesn't know. Her name was mentioned. Watch this.
Argument to be made that there is a stigma around racial progress or an attempt at it. They literally brought on a racial educator to our campus to give a talk, and so SGA did that. And
did it help?
Yeah, that's the question.
Hey, Jane, how was that talk, Jane? How was that?
How is what? I wasn't understanding what he was saying.
He said that the student. He said the Student Government Association in Alabama invited you there as a speaker.
I have no idea what he's talking about. Didn't hear it, can't understand it. The sound is really, really bad.
So he said that you spoke at the University of Alabama.
Well, I've spoken at all of them.
Yeah.
I've spoken at all of them. Yeah, that's I'm sure I've been there. I'm sure I've been threatened with death there. I'm sure I've been taken out of town at midnight because three carloads of blacks had to get me out of town, out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania.
So apply one situation that you went through with a situation you say you can't remember and say, I'm sure that happened there too, even though you have no proof that it happened there. You see how they paint people with a certain brush, right? We invited you to talk. Oh, I don't remember that, but I'm sure it must have been just as racist as this other place. Do you remember the event? No, but I'm pretty sure it's just as racist as that event. Because that event, this is what happened there. No time frame, no date, no pre-circumstance, no person, just it happened there. So it must have happened everywhere I spoke, especially Alabama. When I tell you this woman is infuriating, she is infuriating. Wisdom does not always come with age. Sometimes senility does. Sometimes senility beats experience to the punch. And she was in a fight with senility and lost. Senility treated her like if it was Mike Tyson. It knocked every little bit of sense out of her head and left her incapacitated as a human being. And this next fool in the middle, this beta male, everything he does is a feminine action. Everything. Watch. Everything. He might as well be named Shaniqua. His name might as well be Shaniqua. But I'll let her bury her own self here.
And there I talked to teachers, and they called the superintendent, said, if you don't get that bitch out of town, we're going to shoot her. So 3 carloads of blacks escorted me out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania.
Of blacks.
Now,
Please remember how she's talking about people, right? Remember, they keep saying how the word black's offensive. You can't call us black. We're African American. Call us African American. Don't call us black. She can sit there and at the beginning, you know what? I'm gonna pause her right there so you can hear this again. You have to hear this again in case you missed it. You have to hear this again. You have to hear it again. All right. You got to hear this again because this is perfect. This is a perfect intro to what. Listen carefully. A whole bunch of blacks had to take me to a different place. A bunch of blacks. Here we go.
Whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly. And therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chopped in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that
And I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ.
today you could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals.
Case in point, Roland Martin. You want to see the white liberal that puts him in front of people? Little Miss Jane in the corner there. Little Miss Hagraven. The old bat, the dingbat down in the corner. She's the one that's controlling this entire narrative with these idiot Negroes in this panel. All of them laughing at what you... Now, you talk about... They like to talk about us conservative blacks, about how we are shucking and jiving, and how we doing this for the man, and right? They like to say that about us. Watch when this is done, when Mr. X is done speaking, watch Roland Martin when his massa starts to talk, okay? Watch.
These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
Period. Hands down. Period. Now, with that being said, how do they behave when it's the white liberal turn to talk to them and talk to folk? This is how they behave. Watch Mr. Roland Black Michelin Man.
Have I had some experiences that you may not have had? What I haven't had is the experiences that your mother has every day. Every day she has to think about what is going to happen to you on the streets in the United States of America, where people are wearing red caps that say, "Make America great again," but mean, "Make America hate again." That's what the last 4 years have been about. How to continue to keep people at one another's throats, how to divide and conquer. You need to read the book, When at Times the Mob Was Swayed, and find out that the last 4 years have been Hitlerian. And those of us who are my age recognized it immediately and recognized that what was going on was divide and conquer, and it was exactly like what Hitler did. You need to educate yourself, my friend. I know you've been well schooled. You haven't been well educated. Get the book, The Color of Law, and realize, I'm sorry, I would hate to invent
that little beta, little cuck. Can't decide whether he's male or female. Disgusting human being is what he is. Little massa talking in the corner. I can imagine him sound like Mickey Mouse right now. He probably sounds like a whole tubby Mickey Mouse right now. People like that really anger and disgust me. You want people to listen to you, right? This is you trying to say you're educating people. An 18-year-old, 19-year-old. And this is you? I'm glad to see that C.J. is more masculine than you, for sure. He's worthy of the body parts he has. I can't say the same about you, Mr. Martin. I doubt you probably have those parts. How long has it been since you transitioned? When did you have your surgery? Even the female up in the corner looks more masculine than you, and she has chest ornaments. She looks more male than you do. Educator. Please.
And you all, but you've been well schooled, but they've done studies in this country that
you've been well schooled, but in other words, you've been well schooled, but you're stupid, little boy. You're stupid, little boy. Listen, boy, you're stupid. She might as well say that. That's what she's thinking.
Prove that the longer you stay in school, the more bigoted you become, because the longer you are reinforced in the crap that you learned in social studies, grades K through 12. That is not social studies that we teach in the schools in this country. It's anti-social studies, and you better get that into your head, and you better start doing it now. When you walk out on the street, you make good sense, you think, on this program, but you're in danger when you walk out on the streets, because people who see you saying these things, some of them are going to hate you for them, and some of them are going to say, well, he's right, but he's black, let's take him on. You are in danger, my friend, because of people who look like me.
No, people like you, exactly like you. Not look like you, people like you, exactly you. You are the kinds of people, you're doing exactly what you say others are gonna do. She is literally doing exactly what she says people on the right are going to do to him. Berate him, belittle him, insult him, put him down, and dislike him. She is who she is speaking about. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Look, I'm not an advocate for hitting women, but for the hag raven here, I will gladly make an exception. I ain't gonna lie. I would make an exception. This is some of the stupidest, most racist stuff I have ever heard in my life. And then you have these other 4 panel members that are supposed to be black educators agreeing with her. It gets worse. In case you think it couldn't get worse, oh, it gets worse. Much worse. Much worse. Wait.
My son has been beaten and spit on and has had all kinds of stuff. And I finally had to move out of the community because one of the superintendents said, better get your kids out of this school. Why? Because the teachers are trying to destroy them. I've been through things that you'll never go through. However, I will never go through what you have to go through every day. And the worst part of what you're doing right here is protecting the oppressor. You are saying the oppressor is right. As long as there are people who are willing to protect the oppressor, that's how long the oppression will go on. And no matter what name you give it, it is unfair, it is indecent, and you need to realize that you're being used. You are being used by a man who will use anyone to advance his monetary happiness. And that's what it's all about. He will use you. The people who are following him are using you, and you are being used right now. Now,
I'm going to tell you how you live. You listen to me. I don't live your life, but I'm telling you how you live your life. Blah, 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 blah. Turkey neck, gobble, gobble, gobble. Not even the kind of turkey you could possibly try to stomach at Thanksgiving. It's the one you're thankful that got away from the axe. It's tough, it's gamey, it's got no fat on it whatsoever. It's the loudest of the bunch. You just put it down. It's not good for anything. Do you hear how she is speaking to this young man? Now, mind you, CJ, like I told you at the beginning, CJ is just sitting there. I am in awe of this young man. I really am. Because y'all know me. When I was done with her, she would either be screaming at me or crying in a corner. And I probably wouldn't stop until I got the latter. But I commend CJ because he is a docile human being. He doesn't waver, but he also doesn't strike like a snake. But remember, he's sitting. He's listening, right? He is listening. No one else on this panel does that for him. They don't listen to anything he says. Watch this. Just watch.
you can say that I'm an old white woman saying these things, and I don't know what I'm talking about. My friend, I suppose, what are you, 20 years old? I was 60 years old when you were born.
And I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I know more than you know. I have read more books about the situation that's in this country. Racism is a major item in this country. It impacts every area of our lives. And if
I know everything. And when I tell you to believe something because I say it, you better believe it. I have read every book. I was 60 when you were born. So you had 60 years to be stupid. That's all that tells me. For the 60 years before I showed up, You had 6 years to be a complete numbnut, is what you spent your whole 6 years being what? What did you accomplish in that 60 years? Nothing. You think because you have some paper that you're smart? You're one of the dumbest females I've heard on all of social media. One of the most racist ones I've heard. The arrogance. So you had 60 years to perfect that. That's the only thing I'm hearing. Worthless. Absolutely worthless human being. How do these people make it this far in life? Well, I know how. Because they know how to manipulate and abuse other people. She can pistol whip her way into a conversation and berate people into listening to her. Nobody wants to. But the weaker-minded ones, she can whip into submission to listen to her nonsense, to her stupidity, to her moronic rambling. She's talking to him. He's ready to talk. Typical liberal behavior, 101 coming up.
Are willing to go along to get along. Eventually, the people that you are supporting now will drop you. They will drop you so hard and so fast, and you will have nobody to turn to. You need to build a group of people who will.
He will have no one to turn to because by that time, even we won't accept you back. We won't even help you. We care. But not even us will help you then. We know you're going to get dropped. Not if you're going to get dropped, you have to learn the lesson the hard way. When that happens, we'll be here. No. Not a liberal. When that happens, you on your own. So do you really care? Something tells me that's not true.
Understand you and truly accept you, not just who will use you because you are willing to be used.
Like her. His turn.
CJ, go ahead.
With all due respect, you say I'm protecting the oppressor. Maybe the reality of it is just I'm refusing to be oppressed. You know, I don't wake up every single morning seeing racism in every interaction that I have or racial bias in every interaction.
And liberal 101 start flapping her gums. It's his turn to talk, Hack Raven. It's his turn. You can shut up and file something in a corner. You can sit down and polish your glasses or find a wig that better suits your face. But at this point, it's your turn to shut up and let the young man talk. But no, because you love the sound of yourself so much, you have to interject your points. You didn't just have a whole 2-3 minutes to rant and rave. Tell him everything under the sun that you know. You didn't have time to do that? Yes, you did. And all of a sudden, when it's his turn to talk, you still have more to say. You still have more to say. He is not asking you a question. He has not open-ended this conversation for you to interject your annoyingly board-scraping voice. He didn't do that. But as typical liberal fashion, she has to overtalk and chime in. When I told you it gets worse, you haven't seen anything yet. Just wait.
I have.
Hold on, Jane. CJ, go ahead. Jane, you can respond. CJ, go ahead.
I believe that my future is of my own creation. I believe that opportunity is something that I can get as long as I work hard and play by the rules. That's
She's still
something that
talking.
I've created for myself. You know, I don't come from the greatest means. I don't come from some rich suburban family. I was born to a single mother who was a high school grad who had me in her senior year of high school. For me to be the first in my family to go to college and to achieve what I have, that's a big deal. And that's not something that's going to be robbed away from me because of any faux racism argument that you're making here. I'm not protecting anyone. I'm simply saying that no one, no big phony white supremacy or whatever any of that is going to stop me from achieving what I want to achieve.
So CJ, you believe that white supremacy in America is phony?
Interrupting again, right? And here comes the righteous indignation of the Black Michelin Man. Now, remember, if you remember correctly, he did the same crap to King III. He did the same thing. Now, he realizes that the narrative that CJ is pushing can easily overturn his point of view. He can see this happening in real time. So what does the liberal do? Like I said, the goal of liberals to keep moving the goalposts. You keep moving the goalposts. So he answers your questions and says, I am not going to let some faux or fake white racist BS stop me from getting where I'm going to. Because your premise is that that's what it does. It stops me. That's the fake part of it. Not the existence of it, the power of it, you dumb, stupid Negro. But your intellectual capacity is that of a gnat. You can't understand simple English. Your stupidity outweighs that of even the dumbest human being on earth. Your entire premise of white people keeping him back is fake. So what does he do? Move the goalpost again. Switch it so he can try and what he considers twist up CJ. Oh, so you think what? You think this is fake?
I believe that this idea that everything and anything is
No.
And he clarifies it. He's trying to clarify what he means. But they can't have that because if he does that, then their narrative that they're trying to now continue pushing has to be removed. When I tell you these people are on a different level of dumb, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding you. Watch the arrogance in this moron's face. Watch the arrogance. Just watch.
Say everything. I'm asking you a question. Do you believe that white supremacy in America is real?
I answered the question. I said there are issues with racism still in America today.
You said that earlier. Listen.
Did you have any issue with the Proud Boys?
Here we go. Here we go. See how quickly it went from being about CJ to the Proud Boys. What about this? What about that? You think you hate that too? And you hate this and you hate that? What about that? If you don't hate that, then you must be racist, or you must condone racism, or you must be for the oppressor. If you don't like, move the goalposts. Talk about something other than what the man's talking about to try and make your point more valid. Meanwhile, leaving what point you originally started off with way in the distance, and people are too stupid that are on your side of the aisle to be the wiser. You see, you're so used to being that way with people that follow you that you're okay with doing it when you think people that don't follow you will join. We're not going to join you. We're not as dumb as you. We logically think things through, Roland, unlike the majority of your audience members who lack anything close to a brain cell. They're kind of like you. They grew up and were supposed to learn something and nothing stuck. Other than the stuff that comes out your behind, that's the only thing that found its way somehow back up through your tract and all the way up into your brain. It never left your body. That's these people.
Role they played in the January 6th insurrection, where you also
look at the next clown in the bottom.
With the Proud Boys, I think there are literally minorities who are members of the Proud Boys.
Which there are. Now here comes the typical liberal. Look at his face. You can almost hear the liberality coming out. Just listen, watch.
No. You didn't answer my question.
No, because no, because you won't let him answer your question. No. You let him answer your question, and maybe perhaps you might learn something. But your goal is not educating. Your goal is not being educated. Your goal is to hear yourself speak. Your goal is to flap that stupid hole in your face that you call a mouth and spew the thing that you call education, which is actual crap, out of it. You and the other three idiots on the panel there. The refuse from Beyonce in the top left, Mr. Moses in the part of the Red Sea forehead, and you, Black Michelin Man and the Hag Raven. All of you clowns. Like Malcolm X said, they do the bidding of the white liberal. They do the bidding of the white liberal. And they do it convincingly. Convincingly, they do it. They have an entire chorus of people behind them, chanting their name, carrying it on. I'm going to have you listen to this one other piece here, because I don't want to have to deal with that man for much longer in that sector. Okay.
That you can call 50%, half the country delusional, deluded, wrong, crazy, whatever, but it doesn't detract from the reality that it is not good for our country's stability for people to not be able to have faith in our election.
So hold on, CJ. So if y'all listen to a liar,
again, interruption,
listen
right?
to a liar in Donald Trump, if y'all follow a liar in Donald Trump, and the liar makes all of y'all repeat the lie, and then he browbeats other Republicans in repeating the lie, don't you think folks are going to start repeating the lie? Because again, you keep talking about most Americans and folk not believing in this. Well, here's the deal. This is an NPR, PBS NewsHour, Marist survey.
article.
60% of Americans, 1/4 of Republicans trust the results of the 2020 presidential election. 60%,
NPR.
56% approve of how the president-elect is handling himself in the transition. So 60% of Americans trusted the election. So what you just said is a lie. You said half.
I quote NPR. He can quote NPR, and that's instantaneous and unequivocal proof that what CJ is saying is a lie. One article by a left-leaning source that probably didn't even remotely speak to any Republicans. That's his proof. No offer of a rebuttal. He's right. Liberals, people. Liberals. Left loonies. And again, watch how they handle my boy.
60% is 60% half.
To the point that you just said, you said only 25 of Republicans trusted the election results. I mean, 75.
It ain't our fault y'all believe a liar.
Well, the point that I'm making is bigger than that, Roland. It's about the stability of our nation.
But here's the deal. Can you
Interrupt
provide
again.
me some proof? Here's what I need. Here's the deal. If CJ told me, Roland, Reese can't cook, and I was like, well, hell, the only way I need to know if Reese can't cook is if I eat Reese's food.
Perfect. Then go look into the results of the election. But you won't, will you? Because you can't read. Roland, you can open your eyes real big, but you can't read. You're illiterate. So are the rest of the people on your panel. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, I'm going to do my fair share of browbeating, and you best believe it. You better believe it. Because if no one else will, I will. Because I am sick and tired of people like that jackass having the right to open his mouth and spew the crap he spews and no one coming back at him. So yes, I'm going to browbeat. Trust and believe me, I'm going to go full bore over his tubby, ridiculous, stupid behind. No apologies whatsoever from me. And he has a lot of brow, a lot of space on that head for me to beat, and I'm going to do it. Rest assured I'm going to do it. Us conservatives think, oh, we need to be quiet, we need to be peaceful. Screw that. Screw that. I'm done. I'm done being calm. I'm done being quiet. I'm done being peaceful. I'm done being nice. I'm done. These people for years have browbeat our kids into submission, pushing their crap. And we sit there and take it like little children. We just sit there. No, not anymore. Not anymore. They're not going to get to just run over us anymore. At least not me. You're going to have your hands full. There's a reason why people like Roland, like the other two jackasses on his panel, won't have people like me and Candace Owens on their show. You know why? Because they're going to get embarrassed. And they'll get angry and butthurt when we start to fight back. Because we don't sit down and take crap from people. We don't just let you run your mouth and think you can get away with it. It's not going to happen. I know who you were talking about, but that's the mindset of people. That's the mindset of people. But we have to be done with it. We have to be done with how they handle us. We cannot allow these morons to think they have the high ground. We have been docile for too stinking long. We have been quiet. We've just been sitting there. Oh, we can't retaliate like that. We can't talk to people like that. Why? Why? This young man is sitting there taking it. Like I said at the beginning, I commend him. He's got more gumption than me to take it. I'm not built to take it, and I'm not trying to be built to take it. I'm built to lash back, and I will hit back harder than you can think of hitting back. Because I will say stuff you ain't going to remotely want being said on air. And I will say it, and I wouldn't even apologize for it later. Because trust and believe me, I probably formulated that thought long before I saw your stupid face live. Won't let him continue.
Now, if I go eat Reese's food and it tastes good, I'm like, CJ, you full of shit. Her cooked food tastes good.
Now, if it tastes good to you, that's fine. But that's an opinion thing. That has nothing to do with fact. You see how they have no idea what to make with correlations? They have no idea what a correlation is. Her food tasting good to you could just taste good because you a tubby fat ass. That's all that could mean, that you'll eat anything. You're a trash compactor. CJ, who is healthy and doesn't eat the crap that she cooks, might think that is absolute trash that you're eating. Maybe you shouldn't eat it because it tastes like trash. But you, too fat to stop eating anything they put in front of you, Roland. That's why it tastes good. It's food. They could feed you garbage and you'll be like, oh, that's yum yum. Because it's getting you fatter and that's how you like. But that's opinion, Roland. That's opinion. It's not factual that the food tastes good. Facts in an election, they actually have verifiable, undeniable proof. But your lard ass can't figure that out, can you? No, it can't. You can't differentiate between what's enough salt and what's too much salt. You like it all because food is your friend. It's been your friend since you were small. If you ever had that size to begin with. You were probably the kid on the school bus that took up the whole seat. You buy 2 airplane tickets when you got to fly. Everything for you on the plane is overweight. You pay extra for everything. The absolute insanity of his correlation. If she cooks and I think it tastes good, then it must be really good food. No, 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 no. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Her food could be absolute trash. You see it all the time with Gordon Ramsay, don't you? Gordon Ramsay, a chef. This restaurant, full of crap. The restaurant brings you in. Everyone here likes my food. No one's willing to tell you that your food tastes like crap, sir. No, they like my food. Gordon Ramsay tastes the food. No, the food is absolute trash. But you like the food. Roland, you don't even know what a correlation is. You have no idea how to compare two things that are similar. You go about what feels good to you, what you think people might be like, yeah, that makes sense, because your audience are stupid like you are. They feed on that nonsense. No pun intended, but pun intended.
Now, if you go, but that don't matter, Roland. I think the food don't taste good. And then if I invite Greg over, and Greg like, damn, there's some good food. And if I invite Anthony, Chelsea, Chris, Atlantis,
still
and Jackie,
opinion.
Man, food tastes good. Are we supposed to sit here
Still,
and give you credence?
still opinion.
You don't like it when 9 other people.
Still opinion, Roland. It's still opinion. Because with food, everybody's palate is different. With elections, what you cast should be what you cast. It's no different. I'll tell you what a correlation is. If Greg shows up and he says, hey, this food don't taste good to you quietly, and then you turn around and say, Greg say this food tastes good. So now CJ hears that he thinks the food tastes good when Greg never said that. That's how you really make a correlation. But you don't know that because you're too stupid to figure what a damn correlation is. You idiot. You absolute idiot. Food preference is based on your taste buds and your preference of food. It has nothing to do with fact at all. None. But you wouldn't know that because you don't have the mental faculty to figure that out. None of your audience members do, especially your panel. With all them books behind Greg, I doubt any of those actually took seed in his brain. He definitely speaks like none of them took seed. The girl is just there to try and bring little thirsty men to your conversation. And even then, she wouldn't bring the right kind of thirsty men. Like all of them, their hairlines just recede. And I don't understand this. None of them make sense. Hey, Nicole. These people are beyond help. Literally beyond help. I'm gonna let him wrap this up.
People think the food tastes good?
Well, I'm sorry. Reese's Gumbo just isn't the same as ensuring that America's on good, solid
Thank
footing.
you.
But just because
Thank
y'all
you.
crazy does not mean we have to change laws because y'all are crazy.
Country,
Let me add in.
They won't let him talk, right?
Let me add in a
Now,
little
hold on,
bit.
Greg, 1 second. CJ, go ahead and finish that point, but I'm still waiting on some proof. Please go. I'm still waiting.
Not making this legislation, and Democrats should be the biggest cheerleaders for this legislation.
Why?
Because if you want to blame Donald Trump for what he was able to so-called incite, then he had to have something to point to lead to this incident.
He had nothing.
Exactly.
He lost. He incited an insurrection because he lost.
He incited an insurrection based on nothing. Well, if you consider that an insurrection, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother smart person that he is not. And I'm not going to waste my time with that. I'm not going to try and educate a piece of stick. Sorry, a fallen tree. I'm not going to try and educate a fallen tree.
And he couldn't handle losing.
Okay, well, obviously he was able to point to something that resonated with people that led to them having such a visceral reaction to the
Because
fact-
y'all believe a liar.
No, it's not about that. It's about ensuring that America remains a country that has solid and safe elections.
It was, wait, hold up. You keep saying that. Was it not certified by Republican secretaries of state?
I thought y'all didn't trust Republicans. You see how, again, I thought you didn't trust Republicans. Oh, now you trust Republicans? Oh, because you got what you think you wanted. Oh, see, that's how I would have gone with that conversation. That's the problem with people like CJ. They want to maintain peace. Oh, I would have slapped his fat behind right across the fence. I thought you didn't trust Republicans. Now you trust them? Oh, you trust them now. Oh, good. Good to know. Good to know that when their decision making happens, you trust their decision making. Good. So when they pass laws, just remember you said that you trust the decision making. Oh, but it's only when you agree with them. Oh. Like in this case. Because you want the election to go the way you want it. I'm sure you had this same reaction in 2016, right? When Trump did win, you had the same reaction. You had no problem with the elections, even though it was certified, right? You had the same reaction. You were just as happy as can be that Hillary lost. You had the same reaction. I'm sure you had the same energy, Roland. I'm sure you did. Last words.
Governors and legislators.
It was based on the
So wait, hold on. So
Won't let him finish.
So that wasn't safe?
reformed because of how insecure they are.
Greg, go ahead.
My Pence,
Greg,
certified.
My Pence certified. My Pence
certified.
My Pence certified.
Right, and was he not?
My
the pres- was
Pence
he not the vice
certified. My
president?
Pence.
He was the vice president.
Did he not follow the Constitution?
That's why it was in hiding for the last 3 months. Bro.
Greg, go ahead. See, this is
No, that's-
Here, listen.
this is like the lobotomy that's needed because we got a bunch of crazy Republicans who believe the liar in chief, and they want us to say, "But y'all got to accept our crazy." Greg, go ahead.
The liar in chief, and this is the lobotomy that's needed. Look, I know this much. People like CJ will be the reason that we even survive this on a calm level. People like myself are the reasons we're going to have some way to fight back verbally. And the rest of the crew that want to be left alone, that carry us around them pew-pews, are going to be the reason why we can still have a voice. All three are going to be needed. We cannot afford to sit anymore. We can't afford to be quiet anymore. We also cannot lose our sense of diplomacy. So understand me, and understand me well. Because I hope to high heavens that that overweight whale of a human being sees this. And yes, I will continually harp on all of your stupid looks. I will harp on you physically. I will harp on your inability to think straight. I will go all the way through you. It may take me an entire generation to get through your lard ass, but I will try. But I will not sit here while you try and berate a young man that's twice as smart as you and less than half your age, who has accomplished more mentally in his short life than you have in all of your wasted years that you've had on this earth. Between you, Mr. Brother Man, and the little stupid female you got on your panel, none of you have two brain cells to rub together. But you consider yourself really smart. So smart that you brought a nice little white liberal woman to tell a young black man how he should think. Right? Here, white liberal, please tell us how we should be handling this here young man. You don't know anything, young man. I will tell you how you should think. I have been doing this for years. I am 60 when you are nothing, and I am just so smart. You just don't understand. I have seen things you have not seen. I have lived things you will never live. No congratulations on his accomplishments, by the way, if you notice. He said he was the first in his family to make it to college. No congratulations. He's on the senator board for the school board. No thank you there. He said he's not going to allow anything to stop him from his progression. No, you do it, brother. You got this. No encouragement. Constant berating. It's what they do. It's liberal behavior. My way, or here's a hammer to the head. Well, two can play that game. Two can play that game. I'm a hammer. Now he's smacking all day. You want to play this game? Let's play this game. Let's play this game. Two can play it too. Two can play it. And eventually, we've been on defense for this entire time. We have been on defense. We have quite a potent offense. Your defense is not remotely ready for when we go offensive. We have just gone offensive. You are not going to be ready for this. You're not going to be able to take us out. You're not going to be able to take us on, and you're not going to be able to take us down. We are now on the offensive. It is now our turn. And trust and believe me, we are not putting on gloves. Bare knuckle all the way. And when we're done with you, you will look unrecognizable. We'll beat you into the ground, stomp you there, and we will keep you there as long as we have to. If it means burying you, we're going to bury you. We are done. You ain't have no more victims no more here. And trust me, I'm ready for anything you can throw. I hope to God you try throwing. Please try. Please, please, for the love of all that's good, try. I cannot wait. My advice to you patriots out there who really want this country to prosper, but not just that, are sick and tired of people like these four dictating for the young people the oppression narrative. If you're tired as I am about it, join me. Let's take these clowns out. Let's give them a taste of their own medicine. Let's show them how it really feels when their tactics are applied to them. Let them see what it looks like. In the meantime, tomorrow, I'm going to try and go live tomorrow. I have a lot to do, but I will try. And I want to address those, the shipment of American equipment to Iran. Not sure if you heard about that, but the Taliban just handed over a bunch of stuff to Iran. American equipment. Who didn't see that coming? Who didn't see that coming? Man alive. So now we got the Taliban armed, and now we've just fully reinforced Iran. China is happy. The Afghanistan people are gone. The Taliban's happy. ISIS is back and happy. And Iran's happy. All of our wonderful enemies are all happy now. And we are stuck with that bumbling idiot who couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. Wow. Joe Biden, everybody. Joe Biden. Joe Biden. I tell you, man. Hang on. I tell you. It's just some things that make you go, huh. You know, just some things that make you go, huh? Joe Biden, everybody. Joe Biden.
Come on, man.
No, I ain't gonna come on, man. I'm not. I'm not. Anyway. Yeah, sorry, Silent One. Everything's done. Shh. Make sure you turn notifications on YouTube on. All notifications. Put it on all. Not just a single bell. There's a bell with two little identifiers on the top of them there. So if you click on that bell, you get all notifications right off the top. Make sure you put that one. And the more you like the videos, the more they'll pop up on your main scroll so that you can see it. Be sure to do that too. Also be sure if you have Facebook, put this feed on your Facebook since I can't go live for another 21 days. So, anyhow, remember, tomorrow we'll talk about the weaponry that Iran has received. And also probably dabble in his trip to New York. That should be hilarious too. So, until that day and until that point, you guys have a wonderful rest of the night. And don't forget, wisdom, unlike with these people, wisdom calls to you from the street. And don't be like them and not find it. Find wisdom. Peace.